Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another video where I'm going to be discussing where the Blue Jays need to go now that DJ Lemahieu is off the board. I made a little list where every free agent, or not every free agent, but most of the big names that the Blue Jays have come second on. Starting off with Sagano, they were second in bidding for him. He decided to go back to Japan and play for the Giants. They also lost out on DJ Lemahieu. He just signed a 6-year deal probably till the end of his career. I'll get into that later with the New York Yankees, so he's probably never going to play in Toronto. They also lost out on Liam Hendriks, who signed a 3-year deal with a 4th-year option with Chicago. Kevin Gausman, Francisco Lindor / Carlos Carrasco, Yu Darvish, who probably wasn't going to get traded to the Blue Jays, but was also on the trade board, so he could have been potentially sent there, but the Jays didn't want to take on his $22 million contract, and Cam, who also signed with the Padres. Now, looking at this Lemahieu deal, because it's fresh and it sort of made the Blue Jays, it might make them panic buy, and I'll get into that later. So Lemahieu wanted a 4-year, $100 million contract. Nobody was going to give him $100 million. So he set his price down to 90. The Blue Jays offered him $78 million over 4 years, and keep in mind that is Canadian money as well, so it's cheaper than the US dollar. But the Yankees said, we can give you $90 million, but we just can't do it over 4 years because of the luxury tax. They didn't want to pay more taxes, so they did it over 6, which also benefited LeMahieu because he is under contract, making $15 million a year until he retires, most likely, which also helps him because if he hit the free agent market again in 4 years, he is not going to be making $15 million a year. I don't think LeMahieu's skill is going to diminish as much as other players do because speed isn't a big part of his game, but he could definitely slow down. He's more about contact, and also the short ports in Yankee Stadium will help him hit more home runs. Going over to other pieces that they lost with Sagano, I think he would have made a great piece to the starting rotation of the Blue Jays. He decided to go back to the Giants over in Japan and try again next year in the free agent market, so that was a little bit interesting. I know he's extremely good and he would have been a big piece, but I don't know. It's tough to say because he's never pitched in the MLB. Some people come over to the MLB and they struggle, but well, I guess we'll never be able to tell unless he comes over to the MLB. I already spoke about LeMahieu. He probably would have been a better option. They could have moved Biggio all around the diamond, and LeMahieu could have played second. Liam Hendriks, the Blue Jays need bullpen help. Hendriks would have been a great closer. He's played for them before, but he signed with Chicago, so now the Blue Jays need to go to a different option, whether it be Brad Hand, Kirby Yates, Trevor Rosenthal, or through a trade. Also, back to LeMahieu, there are other infielders on the market, such as Marcus Semien, Andrelton Simmons, and Colton Wong. Now, LeMahieu is different than all those players because LeMahieu is a more all-around player. Colton Wong and Andrelton Simmons rely more on defense as their main game. They won a bunch of gold gloves, and they are really solid defensively, and their bats are decent. Colton Wong is young, so his bat will get better, but Andrelton Simmons is nearing the end of his prime, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Also, Marcus Semien is a more offensive hitter. He's not the best defender. The Blue Jays already have a lot of good bats. They need defensive players now, so another bat, I don't know how much of a difference that would make. Also, looking at the starting rotation, they also lost out on Kevin Gausman. Now, most people don't know about this, but they offered Gausman a 3-year, $40 million deal at the beginning of the offseason back in November. Gausman was apparently really close to signing with them, but thought, I'm just going to sign the 1-year, $19 million deal with San Francisco until 2022, and then the financial situation of teams is better because obviously of the pandemic, teams aren't spending as much, so he just thought, I'm just going to wait out the year, make $19 million, do my thing, go back next year, and try to make more money. Also, the Jays also lost out on Francisco Lindor and Carlos Carrasco because Carrasco was also involved in that deal, which would have helped their starting rotation. Obviously, Carrasco is a very good starting pitcher, and he is a very big piece of the clubhouse. He's a really good team player, and he can definitely help those young arms in the Blue Jays organization. Not to mention Lindor, also a very good player. He's pretty young, going into the prime of his career, and he is a veteran at the same time that he's in like the prime of his career, which I find pretty cool. And he's also one of the probably top 10 players in the game. Now, the Blue Jays would have had to spend at least $300 million to keep him past this next season, and they would have had to give up a lot of pieces in that trade. So is it worth that he went to the Mets and better not to go to the Blue Jays? I don't know. It's tough to say. Definitely would have helped them this year, but I doubt they would have been able to afford him the year after. Going on to Yu Darvish, like I said, he would have been a big piece of the rotation, but I don't think they want to pay, $22 million a year for Darvish. The trade package that the Cubs got for Darvish wasn't actually that big. There was no number one prospect or anything, which I found interesting. It was more of a salary dump by Chicago. Moving on, we got Kim, the shortstop from Korea. He signed with the Padres. He was rumored to go to Toronto on a 4-year deal. Padres just made a better fit for him. Nothing much you can say there, but he is an all-around player. Very good. Another player the Jays missed out on. Now, I'm going to speak about some free agents that are still on the board, starting off with Trevor Bauer. So, JP Morosi on MLB Network today said that Bauer's final 3 teams that he was going to choose between was the Los Angeles Angels, the Dodgers, and the Blue Jays. I could see him going to either the Angels or the Dodgers. He was born in California. In his recent YouTube video, he said geography doesn't matter to him, but I think he wants to stay in his hometown. Every kid's dream to play for their team growing up, so I could definitely see him playing in LA. And Bauer also wants a lot of money. These LA teams can afford to pay him. Blue Jays, I don't think they want to spend $200 million for Bauer. Moving on to the second free agent, we got JT Realmuto. The Phillies and the Blue Jays, also according to Morosi, are the finalists for Realmuto. The Phillies and the Blue Jays, both teams, don't really like to spend a lot of money. Realmuto was asking for 5 years, $155 million. I don't think he's going to get that. Realmuto is similar to Lemahieu. They're both overall good players, all-around good players. Obviously, they play different positions. The Blue Jays do need catching help. Realmuto would be a great fit, but I just don't know if they're going to get him. Both teams are pretty cheap. It's just a matter of who goes higher. In my opinion, I think Realmuto is probably going to go to the Philadelphia Phillies. And then moving over to George Springer. George Springer, I would expect to sign in the next 2 weeks. He's been offered a contract by the Blue Jays, for 5 years, $120 million. The New York Mets also offered him a contract around that range. Will money come to be a factor? I don't know. Springer was born near New York, so that might be a factor. Obviously, Mets fans in the comments have said they want someone who will play for New York, not just the money. So that should be interesting to see. Let me know where you think all these free agents are going to sign. And when they do, I'm going to post fast videos when it does happen. I'm going to be fast to report it. So be sure to subscribe for that. And that's basically it. These are just all the free agents, the ones I talked about as well, and trades that the Blue Jays have lost out on. They're going to have to make some moves in the future. And another thing I just noticed before this video ends, they have a lot of right-handed bats in their lineup and in their organization. They should definitely go out and try to get a left-handed bat, whether that be in the outfield like Brandon Nimmo, who could be a leadoff guy in the outfield, maybe replace Randall Gritchett as a left-handed bat. Also get Colton Wong, second baseman, good defensively in the infield. The Blue Jays struggled defensively, so it would be a good piece, and he's also a left-handed bat, which would help them as well. Let me know what you think of this down in the comments. Do you think the Blue Jays are going to make any big moves? Also, when they do, I'm going to be fast to report them, so be sure to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one.